Hey, what's going on, everybody? Christian here. Hey, so let's talk a little bit about some fear. All right. I was thinking about that and it kind of stood out to me in the past couple of weeks. So what is fear and how much does it actually, take place and reside in our lives? How much power do we give fear? And so I was thinking about it, and fear comes in so many different forms and facets. So when we think about, what is it that we fear, and what causes us to fear it? Why are we fearing this thing? You know, what's keep, you know, what's, what kind of control are we giving that fear? And yeah, I guess kind of just sums down to the fact that fear has as much control over you as you're willing to give it. So anything in this world, talking to a person, having a business deal, just interacting with people in any sense, facing that goal or ambition you have, but you're so scared, you're fearful of it. All those things, they only have so as much power of you as you're willing to give them. So if you're scared about going on and chasing that adventure, that's then you're not going to go on it because you're going to let that fear sit in. If you're not going to go talk to that person, it's because you're going to allow that fear to overtake you and you're just not going to want to talk to them because you're afraid of failure. And that's a whole other problem about about thinking that just because you fail or it doesn't go the way you want, that somehow it's bad. And it's not. But that's a whole different topic. But anyways, how much fear are we giving control to, or how much control are we giving to fear? And so just a few things I wanted to hit on with this is Voltaire has a good one that says, every man is guilty of all the good that he did not do. So how much could we do? Or, can you look back in your life and go, oh, I wish I did this. Now I have regret from this thing because I didn't do it because I was scared from whatever that made me not do it. Okay. So I hate that concept of being regretful for something, right? I'd much rather fail and screw something up, but trying to do it and knowing that, okay, that didn't work out. It is what it is, versus I will never know because I never tried. Cicero, more is lost by indecision than wrong decision. Again, just leading really back into that same idea is not being able to do something or being willing to try something and then, you lose a lot more because now you just don't know. And now you didn't even get that chance, you didn't get that opportunity, and it could have worked, but you were too scared. All right, so in Isaiah 14, verses 16 to 17, it's talking about Satan in this area. It goes, those who see you will gaze at you. They'll ponder over you, saying, is this the man who made the earth tremble, who shook kingdoms, who made the world like a wilderness and overthrew its cities, who did not allow his prisoners to go home? And in other words, it's kind of saying like, this guy, like that's it. That's what we were scared of. Like he's more scared of us than we are of him, but he was able to trick us. He was able to be that the wizard behind the curtain, like the whole Wizard of Oz thing, the wizard that had no power and was terrified of everyone else because they could beat him up. It's the same concept is that's how Satan is. He is the only power he has is the power we give him through any of these other spirits of fear, of gluttony, of alcohol, of blah 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 blah, blah. Whatever we give into, we are given that thing, that spirit, that idea, that whatever thing, we're given it power. So, anyways, that's the whole thing right there is just saying that even the biggest thing that everyone fears or that everyone gives so much credit uh, to have so much control over us, really it's just because we're giving that control to them because we're not trusting in God to be able to be there with us. So that's leading into another one of these. So Psalm 34:4, I sought the Lord and he answered me and rescued me from all my fears. Again, if we were going to go to the Father with our questions and concerns and fears and all that, he will lead the way because everything's afraid of dad. All right. Everything is going to be afraid of the big guy upstairs. All right. Matthew 6:24. No one can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or he'll be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and wealth. So again, the idea is that if you love and trust and respecting God, to be like, okay, I trust that you will keep me safe and protect me and do X, Y, and Z things. But then you're living in that fear because you're more afraid that that fear is going to and whatever could come from that fear, talking to someone, the business deal going, you're not being accepted for the job interview, you don't get the deal, etc. You're more afraid of what will happen from that fear versus trusting in him. So it's another way of looking at that. How can you trust and serve God and being like, all right, let's face this battle versus I'm too scared because I don't think you're going to be there to do your job. So that's just the way that I kind of saw that. I don't know if that might help anyone else in how they see things. And the last one will be Second Timothy 1:7. For God has not given us a spirit of timidity, but of power and love and discipline. Again, he's like, you're not supposed to be scared, you're not supposed to be timid, you're not supposed to be afraid. He's like, if you accept me, I dwell inside you, and I ain't scared of anything because I created it all. So let's face this together. He's like, I've already done it, but I'll let you tag along. And I'll let you think that you did something when you really did. So, anyways, that it's just some ideas like that. What kind of I could talk for hours upon hours about fear and what it does and how much fear I lived in. Like I literally my entire upbringing until I was 19 was living in fear. And it wasn't until I just made a decision to go out in the world uh, and join the military to go from everything being fear based to being like, well, crap, I have no idea what to do about anything in life because I've been so scared my whole life. I mean, this was me so scared. I didn't do anything. I didn't have friends. I didn't experience things. I didn't try out things. I didn't go places. I didn't do anything with anyone at all, like as my life growing up, because I was always so scared of other people, of talking to girls, um, of going for what I wanted, or even thinking I knew what I wanted, or trying anything, or failure. I was dead afraid, scared to my core about everything, and I did nothing. And now I can look back and be like, again, I know God used it, so I don't really sit there with in all this regret. However, for a while, I did sit there thinking about, well, I didn't do that. I didn't try this. I could have gone there. I could have done that, blah, 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 everything. And then sometimes I got to think and remember about that still today and go, okay, I'm not going to be scared of that because if it works, great. If it doesn't, well, I didn't fail. I just learned something. I learned a lesson. That's it. I learned something that's going to help me tomorrow. So, anyways, I'm just going to try and cut it off there because I know I could literally talk for hours upon hours about this kind of stuff. But I just want to give you guys an idea, uh, even maybe just a glimpse about what goes on in my mind. Again, like I said, a glimpse. Otherwise, we'd be here for hours. But, anyways, face the fear, face it head on, and learn that whole courage thing. But remember, God's the one who's there with you, and He's the one who's already overcome. He's already overcome the world. He's already overcome all of fear. There's nothing he can't handle. So if you give to him, allow him in, and you are willing to be scared for a little bit, well, guess what? Then the next time you won't be as scared, and then you'll be less scared the next time, and the next time, and the next time. All right. Peace, y'all. Love.